Well, it's almost been 1 year since I took delivery of my Model 3, and by the time this car reaches its first birthday on April 30th, I'll have driven it 40,000 miles. I've never driven any car 40,000 miles in a year. In fact, I doubt I've driven one even half that, but that's how much I love this car. And I really didn't start out as a Tesla fan, not that I didn't think they were beautiful cars, I just didn't think I could ever afford one. And it wasn't until I bought a battery-powered lawnmower back in early 2016 that I realized how nice it was not having to mess around with gas. Back then, I kiddingly told my friends and neighbors that I mowed my grass with a Tesla, and that's when I became interested in the real thing. It was about this time that Tesla started taking reservations for the affordable Model 3, and I was intrigued. I started watching Tesla videos on YouTube, watching Rolf and Silke crossing Canada and zigzagging through the U.S. in their Model X, and watching Zach and Jesse taking trips in their Model X, and then Brandon in his Model S. I also enjoyed watching Bjorn Nyland giving his Model S hell and then his Model X hell. It really looked fun and interesting, so on August 11th, 2016, after 400,000 other people had done so, I became a reservation holder. And then the long wait began. So during that time, I lived vicariously through other Tesla owners on YouTube, biding my time until I could finally take delivery. I finally saw my first Model 3 in the wild on December 30th, 2017. As it turned out, it belonged to our local mobile service ranger, Jeff, who I would meet later. Skip ahead to March of 2018, and a member of a Facebook group that I belonged to locally offered up his Model 3 reservation since he no longer needed it. Once I was sure I could also receive the $7,500 tax incentive, I jumped on his reservation. Thanks a lot, RJ. On March 5th, I confirmed my car, or configured my car, and paid the initial $2,500 down payment. It wasn't until April 10th, however, that I finally was assigned a VIN number. In the days that followed, I heard from my ISA and set a delivery date of April 30th at 10 a.m., the very first delivery of that day. Those last few days seemed like an eternity. Finally, Monday, April 30th rolled around. My brother-in-law Patrick drove me the 100 miles from Louisville, where I live, up to Cincinnati to take delivery of my car. Model 3 Owners Club forum member who lives in Louisville, Chris, asked me if I would mind if he tagged along to observe the delivery process since he had a reservation that would be coming up later in the summer. I was more than happy to share the experience with him. Chris got about a 15-minute head start on Patrick and I. When we got about halfway up to Cincinnati, the phone rang, and I looked down and saw on the caller ID that it was the Tesla Delivery Center. I answered the phone, and I was told that my car hadn't made it to the dealer yet. I was heartbroken. I asked if it was possible it would show up that day, and he said, yeah, it could still show up. And he said if it showed up early enough, they'd still be able to deliver today. So I made the decision to continue onward. Chris got up there a little bit before we did and started scouting the lot for my car. He was looking for a midnight silver metallic Model 3 with aero wheels. He texted that he didn't see one anywhere on the lot. But then it showed up. While he was standing there, the delivery transport truck pulled up, and he immediately texted me and let me know that it was there. Patrick and I pulled off the freeway ramp and around and onto the lot, and we saw the truck there with his four-way flashers on, which was a fantastic sight. The delivery advisor came out, pointed out which one was my car, and said they'd do their best to get me out of there by 1 p.m. Naturally, my car was near the back, so it was going to take a while, but it was so cool to actually see it come off the truck. It was filthy, but it was still the most beautiful car I'd ever seen. Easy, buddy. Easy with that. Be gentle. YouTube sensation Andy Sly a Louisville, Kentucky resident like myself, took delivery of his red Model 3 about 2 hours after I did. That's his red Model 3 in the delivery bay. If you don't know who Andy is, he received the most Tesla referrals worldwide and as a result won 2 Tesla Roadsters in the last Tesla referral contest. Andy's every bit as nice as he seems on his amazing videos. Congrats, Andy. Don't forget about me when the Roadster shows up. The entire team at the Tesla Blue Ash, Ohio Delivery and Service Center did a fantastic job of moving the car through prep and detailing, and I breezed through the delivery process and was on my way home early afternoon just as promised. 30 miles down the highway, autopilot became active and I immediately tried it out. It was great. I loved it and I still do, and I use it all the time. But my joy ended later in the day when I rashed my right rear wheel about a mile from my house. During my 12 months of ownership, I've had a few minor issues that I've had taken care of. I had an issue with my driver's door handle being laggy and slow to return. Both of my eyelash lights, the daytime running lights, have failed and they've been replaced. My front passenger door was a little bit hard to close due to a minor misalignment. I had a charge port locking pin replaced, and I had a software issue that involved the computer cache. Each time Tesla bent over backwards to make it right, and the Rangers and the guys at the Blue Ash Service Center have my deepest appreciation. Thanks, guys. You're the best. You don't get 40,000 miles on your car in 1 year without taking some long trips in it. My family and I took a 6,000-mile trip out west last summer, visiting 6 national parks and 4 national monuments. The car performed great. I met a lot of really nice people during the trip who wanted to ask me about the car. This was in the early days of the Model 3, remember? Many of the people were from Europe and were very excited to see it since they knew it was going to be many, many months before it made its way across the pond. I never had any range anxiety and took advantage of destination chargers when I could find them. I believe I only saw 1 or 2 Model 3s during my entire trip out west. Aside from the big vacation trip, I've taken many regional trips and have visited a lot of superchargers. But my favorite thing to do in this car is to display it in car shows like the Drive Electric Week shows. And I was also a part of the Christmas parade in downtown Louisville last December with our local EV club, Evolve KY. It's awesome to educate people about the benefits of driving electric, and actually that's my favorite thing to do with this car. I'm looking forward to many, many more miles and many, many more years in this car. And now that I've got my roof rack on top of my car, I'm ready for some serious adventures ahead. So stay tuned. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you're in the market for a new Model 3, Model S, Model X, or Model Y, please use my referral code to get 1,000 miles of free supercharging. Thanks for watching.